Hello and welcome to Shoot the Hostage with me, Dan, and my partner, Sarah. We're a movie podcast and we cover 8 films per season based on a specific theme. It is worth noting that we do occasionally swear, open brackets, very often swear, close brackets. We also occasionally cover triggering topics, so we would always advise using listener discretion and probably don't listen around your kids. If you like what we do and want to support us, please consider hitting 5 stars on Spotify or maybe subscribing or even reviewing on your platform of choice. We also have a Patreon with a free tier for lineups and updates and 2 paid tiers with extra content and early ad-free episodes. Right, that's enough from me. On with the show.
Dan,
Sarah?
we are back to talk about your identity theme.
Yeah.
Today specifically, we're talking about a film.
Are we?
We are.
Spoilers.
We're here to talk about a film.
We're talking about a film.
Did you know?
We never do that, Sarah.
But in this film, it's about a character who is vain, superficial, greedy, absolute wanker, may or may not have killed people. No, it's not The Apprentice. We're talking about American Psycho.
Okay.
We're not here to discuss the current US president. That may shock you.
I thought that you was going to make a crack about Jared Leto. It was going to be something. There's this film about a horrible. He's probably done horrible, heinous things. Plus, Patrick Bateman is in this movie.
Well, maybe that joke will come later. I'm sure there will be plenty of dogpiling Jared Leto once again. In which case, let me bring this up now. We need to stop choosing films that Jared Leto is in.
I'm sorry. The last time it came up, I believe we were like, right, that's it. It's done now. We're not going to do any more. But this is the 3rd or 4th time.
I think it's 4th because I did Requiem for a Dream in drugs season, and I chose House of the Gucci in true crime season.
Yeah.
And what was the last one?
I think that's it. I think it is. I think this is the 3rd.
Is it?
I want to. Like my gut's telling me that there might be a 4th, but I've thought about it and I can't think of where it might have been. So,
or in which case, I really need to stop choosing films with Jared Leto in.
Yeah, as it stands, you've chosen 66% of them. This is the first one I've chosen.
I'm so sorry.
I will also caveat it by saying I forgot that he was in this movie.
Well, he's not in it much,
No.
which is a pretty good move on the part of this film.
He is in my favourite scene.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll get to that.
It's our second Christian Bale movie of the season.
It is.
I didn't mean to do that either.
Okay.
Didn't even think about it.
In one, he played Batman. In this, he plays Bateman.
Yeah, it's very important to introduce another vowel.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how you distinguish between a hero and a murderer.
Oh, is it? The extra vowel?
The extra E in the middle, yeah.
Oh.
They call it the magic E.
I'll pay attention to that now.
It's our second Chloe Sevigny movie.
Yes.
I always struggle to say Sevigny.
I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, of course it is. We did Boys Don't Cry in my true crime season as well.
What year did this come out? 2000?
2000, I think, yeah.
Did you watch it when it came out?
Yes.
Did you?
Yes.
I did too.
Because I'd read the book already at that point.
Had you? You nerd.
Why am I a nerd?
You square.
Because I read a book.
What you reading for? Reminds me of a Bill Hicks joke. Oh, interesting. So you'd already read the book. What inspired you to read the book? Because it's quite controversial, isn't it? And
have you met me?
Listen. I think we've met. I'm pretty sure we have met a few times.
What inspired you to read it is quite controversial. You've both asked and answered your own question there.
But hear me out, right? So the book's released what year? 92?
I believe so.
So you read it when?
Probably only a couple years before the movie came out.
Okay, so maybe 98?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so about 16. 15, 16 maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just surprised. I don't think I've ever met anyone that's read the book, but I was brought up in Essex.
Do you know anyone who's read our book?
Yes, you've read this book. So you read it before. Did you like the book?
Yes,
Interesting.
I did.
It's because it's a bit of a Marmite book, I understand. Much like this movie, I guess.
Well, and the author. The author's very much a bit of a Marmite personality.
So I hear. Bret Easton Ellis.
Yeah.
Controversial figure.
He is rather, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, in terms of like controversial fiction, I was reading. I didn't know that my tastes were a little bit weird until a class in high school. I think I was 14, and it was a replacement lesson, and we'd been asked to bring books in, and we had to sort of stand up in front of the class and talk about the book that we were reading. And I'd chosen Flowers in the Attic, which is, of course, about a woman who locks her 4 children in an attic while the grandma slowly poisons them, and 2 of the older children commit incest. So,
Oh my God. Sarah's favourite theme.
It's not my favourite. Look, somewhere
in movies it comes
muddied.
up a lot. It's always it started with Yorgos Lanthimos, but like I feel like every other movie that you chose has got that in it. Interesting. Look, so how did the class take it? How did the teacher take it?
She was a little bit shocked. She asked where I'd obtained the book from, at which point I was like, "Oh, is this not suitable?"
Right.
Yeah. So I sought out controversial fiction, I guess, and after reading American Psycho, I did devour a bunch more Bret Easton Ellis novels as well.
What else has he written?
Oh God, loads. I think the one I went straight to after American Psycho was Less Than Zero.
Is there a movie of that?
Yes.
Sounds
it's
familiar.
Not good.
Okay.
I think Andrew McCarthy and Robert Downey Jr. are in it.
Right.
If I remember rightly.
Feels like one of those movies that's just got lost. It's probably on Tubi.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no one's ever going to watch it again.
The book was much better, but shocking if I remember rightly.
Okay.
There's been a few adaptations of his work. We've got The Informers, which is also terrible. Rules of Attraction, which I loved.
You do like that movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Van Der Beek?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
RIP. Yeah. I believe Bret Easton Ellis is currently directing a movie that he's written.
Oh dear.
But I know. But I don't think it was a book first. Because I read somewhere that Joseph Quinn had signed on,
okay.
but then he left the project to work on this fucking weird Beatles project with Sam Mendes.
Oh yeah, we're making 12 Beatles. Maybe.
Yeah, because one is not sufficient. Yeah. Just make it a mini-series.
I was going to say, have you ever heard of the concept of a television program?
Yeah, nobody's going to go to this. Well, actually, no. Some people will go and watch all 4.
Some people will go and watch all 4, but I think that's a big ask. I think one Beatles movie will absolutely smash it. 4. Yeah. I think it's definitely going to be diminishing returns. And I feel sorry for whoever's going to be the last Beatles movie out, unless it's leading up to like an Avengers style Beatles team up situation where like you introduce to them individually in the first 3 and then the 4th one, they will come together. Then maybe I might go and see all of them.
Perhaps.
But I'm not a fan of the Beatles, so I probably won't.
No.
The Beatles are fine. Listen, go and watch that Glenn Houghton video about him talking about the Beatles, and that perfectly sums up my feelings about the Beatles.
I agree.
They're fine.
Yeah.
Overrated.
They are overrated, and they stole most of their best music. Look, we're not here to discuss this. But yes, Bret Easton Ellis, controversial figure.
Right.
There's been a lot of accusations of misogyny levied at him.
Oh yeah.
Which I don't know enough to really comment on that. I did try and do a bit of digging, but it wasn't immediately obvious.
Okay.
From my research.
Okay. So excited for the movie coming out then, I suppose?
I was, yeah.
I want to see the differences between the book and the movie.
Yeah, I'm that person. I'm that guy.
Oh, that's okay. That's fine. So 2000 it comes out. 16-year-old Dan wanders down to his VHS store, local video rental store. Keenly rents this. Loves it. Doesn't fucking know why. Hasn't got a clue.
Doesn't comprehend it in the slightest.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I did back then.
No. I mean, I was an idiot because I was a growing teenage boy. And as we know, all teenage boys are idiots. And
I would extend that to just all teenagers.
Oh, I would agree with that. But I have a special place of idiocy reserved in my brain for boys.
Okay.
Because I was one. And I loved this immediately. Didn't understand why, but I was very drawn into it straight away and I was sort of hypnotized by it, really enjoyed it. I think Mum, if you listen, I don't know if she does, but if she does, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure that you hated this movie. If I'm wrong about that, correct me. But I sort of remember it being a bit of a perplexing watch for the people around me. And me going, oh, this is great. I definitely found it funny. And I think maybe the people around me thought it was weird that we were laughing at this, that this is fun. Is this funny? Should I be laughing at this sort of situation? And that's not an unfair response to this movie, because it's quite, although it's not as graphic and as shocking as you think, it is controversial. And it's the fact that we'll get into all of this in detail, I'm sure, but the fact that it's a dark comedy about our culture and the things that he's doing, sort of mixing comedy with that might sometimes feel a bit wrong, maybe a bit.
Yeah, that's not going to sit well with everybody.
It's not going to sit well with everybody. Yeah, and it could have gone completely wrong, but unfortunately in this movie, spoilers, they absolutely nail it.
Mary Harron to the rescue.
Yeah, and she did come to the rescue.
She did. Yeah, we'll get to that.
She did you know that Stuart Gordon was attached to this?
Oh, we'll talk about it now, I guess.
Oh, okay. Did you have something else you want to talk
about?
No,
that's fine. I was going to ask you why you chose it.
Why I chose it? I chose it because Stuart Gordon was almost the director of this movie.
Smooth.
No,
I did read that. And David Cronenberg at one point.
Cronenberg was attached for quite a while, I think. Yeah. And then in comes Mary Harron and Guinevere Turner's script. And they really or Harron at least, really wanted Christian Bale. Studio, I understand, wanted Leonardo DiCaprio.
Of course they did.
Which I hate.
Yeah.
But they were going to up the budget to 40 million in order for DiCaprio to be the lead.
What was the budget?
7.
Wow.
So a big difference.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
Okay.
And I don't think that in all of the multiverses that exist, not in all of them where this movie had $40 million starring Leonardo DiCaprio, not one of them is that better. There's no way that DiCaprio was better than Bateman. Bateman? That's how good he was.
Yeah, exactly.
Was better than, because this is made for Bateman. This is made for Bale, this role. DiCaprio, I think, is completely wrong, especially then. And for 40 million, it's going to be completely sanitized. And I think it's going to lean into tropes way more and probably be more of a slasher situation, I would say.
Potentially. But yeah, they kind of booted Mary Harron. They booted her for a while.
Oh, did they?
And got Oliver Stone on board.
Right.
Which I could see, out of the directors that have been mentioned, I think he would have been my favourite sort of backup. And as much as I love Stuart Gordon, I love Cronenberg, but I don't think either of them were the right people to tackle this material necessarily.
Yeah.
Cronenberg, maybe.
I think a Cronenberg version would have been interesting to watch. I don't want another version of this. This is a perfect movie to me. And I think it's a masterpiece. So I don't want any of that. The one is Cronenberg. That could be an interesting thought experiment. Let's see what he does here. It would involve something growing out of a body.
Almost certainly.
Yeah, but Oliver Stone is interesting because obviously he enjoys controversial material. Obviously, Natural Born Killers.
Well, that's where my brain went. Yeah,
which is a very funny movie. That's another one I think when I watched it when I was a kid and I laughed at it and I didn't understand why. But my folks were like, "Why are you laughing at this? There's a head on a spike. Why is that funny?"
Because it's supposed to be. It's satire.
Yeah, I don't know. The same way RoboCop's funny, Mum. And Starship Troopers, I don't understand why. I ain't got a clue. It's just funny when they explode.
You didn't know that you were a huge fan of satire back then?
No, I didn't. I didn't know. I didn't heard the word satire, and I watched Spitting Image. Didn't find that funny, oddly enough. But I don't really find puppets funny. But that's a whole nother thing.
Fair enough. Spitting Image had its moments.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay.
Unless you're a South African. In which case, just offensive.
Why offensive to South Africans?
Sorry, it was a niche reference to a song that they did.
Okay. I must have missed that
called I've Never Met a Nice South African.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, why did you choose it then?
I chose it simply because I love it. And I really wanted to talk about this. I've wanted to get it into a season for a long, long time. My seasons tend to be a little bit lighter. This season has been an outlier for me because I've chosen some darker movies in this one. So this is where it was good. It was like, I have to choose it now, and it's going to be perfect for this season because the whole, obviously, identity theme or lack thereof is perfect for this theme, I think. Yeah, and it's just something I wanted to get to for the longest time.
And something we haven't really discussed this season is collective identity. So that'll be interesting to delve into a little bit, I think.
It'd be interesting for you to tell me what that is and what that means.
All right, then. No pressure. I want to start by talking about Mary Harron a little bit. Because why hasn't she had a bigger career?
I don't know. Like sometimes you look at credits and you look at people's credits and maybe they haven't done much. But I think about it, like maybe they did really well on one of the movies and just didn't spunk all their money. So they're able to live more freely and just do the projects they want to do. I don't. There's a chance that maybe she just didn't get the opportunities, but I don't know. Maybe she did, and she just only wants to do what she wants to do. Because looking at her filmography, this one feels like the outlier in her.
I was about to say
a lot of movies. You said it the other day. There's a lot of movies about real people. Betty Page. The Andy Warhol one. What was that called?
The movie's called I Shot Andy Warhol.
Right.
And the real person that it's about is called Valerie Solanas.
Right. Yeah.
But Anna Nicole Smith. She did a biopic about Salvador Dali.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Bunch of real. Charlie Manson and the Manson Girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen most of her films, actually. There's a few I haven't. But they're all quite tough to track down.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Which surprises me.
Rights issues, maybe.
Maybe. Or maybe they're just, like, none of them did particularly well outside of this.
Right.
So maybe there just isn't the demand.
Maybe. It's funny, like, I look at that filmography and I think, yeah, you've obviously got an area that you're interested in. And that's great. And I enjoy that. And I think maybe that's what makes me think that maybe she just does the things that she wants to do. Like, I'm interested in this. Or maybe there's a long period of development. Maybe they pick a. I think she works with Guinevere Turner quite a lot, and maybe they pick a subject, they like get involved with it for years, and it takes ages to get it off the ground. Maybe they spend 5 years on a project, and then that one doesn't happen, so they've got another 5 years of prep on something else. I don't know. That's what I hope anyway, because obviously American Psycho is up there for me, and I would love to see her do more stuff.
Yeah, and it's crafted and directed really nicely.
It's such a confident movie, isn't it? For so early in her career.
I mean, was this her second feature?
I believe so. After
the first being I Shot Andy Warhol, which we actually watched prior to this.
We watched it on VHS.
Because that was the only way I could get hold of it.
Is it?
That was the only medium I could find it in. Yeah.
Fascinating.
And I...
Overpaid for it?
No, I don't think I did, because nobody wants it. Really? This is what I'm saying. There isn't the demand. It's crazy. But I watched that a lot when I was a teenager, when it first came out. And maybe formed part of my identity. I don't know.
Having watched it with you the other day, I can totally see that. Yeah, for sure.
I was surprised, actually, because it was one that I was a bit fearful about. You know, when you revisit a film that you loved and it hasn't aged well, and it's just like that sinking feeling of, yes. No.
Very familiar with that.
I hate that. So I was a little bit scared that was going to happen. But very relieved to find out that it actually stands up. It's a good movie.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's worth checking out, particularly if you're a completionist as well and you want to check out her career. It's an interesting watch. And
but I think sorry to interrupt you, but the point I was going to make is that I think that's really confidently directed for a first time feature. I think she sort of has a really set grasp of the story that she wants to tell and the direction she wants to go in. And I really enjoy that about it.
It feels like that. Yeah, I agree with you that I Shot Andy Warhol also feels very confident. It's a very bold movie. And it's full of interesting performances and just like confident performances as well. And like you say, it does feel like she's got a very specific take. And that does extend into American Psycho. And I think that's one of the things that makes this a successful movie. I think that American Psycho could very easily have been a complete misfire.
Yeah.
but I think her and Guinevere Turner adapting this script and making this movie, without those two, this is something completely different. And yeah, I think they nailed it, obviously.
So how do you feel about the people behind the movie? Because obviously this is another one like The Matrix that's kind of been embraced by the sort of crowd who doesn't really understand what they're watching. I know that sounds really condescending, and I mean it to. But it's from the source material written by a gay man with accusations of misogyny, but adapted by a female writer who also happens to be a lesbian, directed by a woman. How much of that do you think played into the end product?
Massively.
Yeah.
I sort of was trying to get to, I think that they're the antidote to this movie in a way, this adaptation. Their take is, it seems to be quite respectful to women. Like, I know women get murdered in this movie, but you don't really see it. Like, you don't see much of that stuff.
You don't see much of Jared Leto getting an axe to the face, which I'm very sad about.
Yeah, I would like to see more of that.
Yeah.
Sarah, get a popcorn. Yeah, but no, I think having them on board with it is the reason that this is as successful as it is. And I think, yeah, the people that adopt, like the manosphere guys that adopt these sorts of movies, The Matrix, Fight Club, American Psycho is up there. They're the three, aren't they, really?
Yeah, tends to be.
I'm sure there are others. But I think...
But they're the sort of idiots who just like Fight Club because they beat each other up.
It's got the word fight.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. And it's similar with this, isn't it? It's American Psycho is about a man that is too fit. He's got too many muscles. Like, he works too hard on it.
Too many ab.
He's got too much ab. Yeah. And it's if you don't think about this movie, I don't know. Is it a dangerous movie?
In the wrong hands, clearly.
I guess so, yeah.
But I think that's user error. It's not the film's fault.
I 100% agree, yeah.
Or the film's responsibility necessarily, because from the first frame, it's so fucking obvious that this is satirical and that it's a total send-up of the people it's portraying. It's not remotely aspirational.
Yeah.
Which is how they seem to view it. And I mean,
that's the problem, isn't it? It's the workout routine. Let's get this done, and then
but
what they're a psychopath.
What they're not understanding, and this is what I want to talk about in terms of like the representation of collective identity, is that these people individually try to craft what they view as the perfect human, physically, aesthetically,
by using a hammer to the cheeks.
Yeah, which is sort of an extension now into what we're seeing with like the looksmaxxing community and incels and red pill forums and all this bollocks. I'm so sorry if any of these terms are new to you. Please don't go down the rabbit hole. It's not worth it. Save your sanity. But I think what they're neglecting to pay attention to is that in trying to craft what they view as physical and aesthetic perfection, they've lost everything else. Yeah. There is no identity. There is no personality.
It's all surface level.
They may as well just be one amorphous blob with 8 perfectly coiffed heads. It's ridiculous. And it's so blatant. It's so brazen. I hadn't seen this film for about a decade, I want to say. And because it's spoken of in those terms, because it is embraced by those sorts of people for the wrong reasons, I think I'm always shocked by how brazen the satire is.
Yeah.
It's so obvious.
It's so obvious. Like you say, from the opening frame. When you say opening frame, are we talking the credits, the opening credits, or are we talking intro to Bateman?
Well, that first scene where he's with the other guys and they're sat around the table and he just pulls this, like, I can't even move my face in that way, but this smug expression.
Yeah. And
it's such a cartoon expression.
It's a very cartoon performance, isn't it? And we'll get into that for sure. But it's painfully obvious to me watching it as a fully grown adult with an adult brain almost. The satire is completely obvious. And I would say from the opening credits, it's maybe not the thing about the opening credits is obviously it starts with what you think is blood, and it's
Yeah.
revealed to be part of a dish. So you've got the murder aspect, and then you've got obviously the consumerist aspects. Obviously, restaurants are a big thing in this dossier.
Is it just me, or does all the food sound shit?
Yeah, it sounds like overpriced garbage.
Yeah.
And so that sort of introduces you to that. Apparently, Dexter ripped off those credits quite a lot.
I can see that. Yeah.
And didn't Dexter refer to himself as Project Bateman? I heard online somewhere.
Oh, I don't remember that. Maybe.
So there's definitely, I mean, it's definitely influenced by this movie for sure. And then you get his workout routine, and it's interesting because it like you're introduced to him, and it feels like on the surface he's got like quite a controlled and measured life, and he sort of measures everything. He's got a routine, you know, like this is what he does, this is what his life is, and this is what he's trying to portray. This like this grounded normal person that likes pop music,
normal,
and this is what he's trying to portray. But really is obviously an absolute psychopath. And it's interesting because you get that scene where he's in the bathroom and he's looking at his reflection in the mirror, and it's a poster of Les Mis, and that sort of is also suggesting the hypocrisy, I think, of the character, which is the Les Mis is about poverty, people stealing bread, and then Russell Crowe's going to do a bad song at you.
Oh, I am so poor. I've had my head shaved. Or something. I've never seen it.
That's it. You've nailed it. Well done. You memorized the lines clearly.
Cool.
But obviously so he's something that he portrays to the world is that he really likes pop music and culture and all of that stuff, which I don't think that he does. I think he doesn't have any feelings about it whatsoever.
No, I don't think he has any interests beyond self-interest.
I think he's just pretending that he likes all this stuff. So it's like, what's a cool thing to do is put a Les Mis poster on your bathroom.
Yeah.
So the fact
I'm cultured.
So it works on several levels. Like the fact that he's got a Les Mis picture and we don't think that really does anything for him. You get a reflection of him looking himself in a mirror trying to figure out who he is, and the hypocrisy of liking this thing or pretending to like this thing that's about poor people, where he actually murders a homeless guy at one point and clearly despises them. So I think for me, the opening 10 minutes of this movie is some of the best I've ever seen, and every time it's I think it's brilliant. And it just really wraps me up in the movie and teaches me what I'm watching and how to watch it. And that's what you need to do to start a movie, particularly like this, I guess. It sort of wrapped me up from the very beginning.
Yeah, it's one of those rare instances where I actually quite like the voiceover as well, because normally I hate voiceover, I hate narration.
You need it for this, I think.
I think you do, because there's nothing on the surface, so we need somebody to tell us what's going on inside his head, because everything else is just a blank slate. But normally I find it to be quite a lazy plot device, or it certainly can be.
It can be, yeah.
Maybe not normally, but it can be. I think people rest on it when they can't show, so they have to tell.
Yeah, they've made the movie and realised they haven't shown or told.
Yeah,
so get someone, get Harrison Ford in to do a voiceover.
Yeah. But I think here it is. I think you're right. It's sort of essential. We need that insight necessary into his brain.
Is there like a voiceover mechanism in the book? Do you remember?
No. Well, I mean, so Bret Easton Ellis was actually quite vocal about how much he disliked that element of the movie.
Oh, right. Okay. Because
the book is a little bit more ambiguous, I guess. Look, it's been such a long time since I read the book. I only read it once. So this is a 20-odd-year-old memory. Go easy on me. But I do remember the book being a little bit more ambiguous.
Because this movie's quite ambiguous already, I think. I
don't think it is.
Tasty chat conversation coming up, I think. Okay, let's put a pin in that.
Okay.
Let's not forget, let's literally put a pin in it or something, because sometimes I do that. I go, let's talk about that later.
And then it never comes up again.
And it never comes up again. I'm like, you bastard.
Well, that's what happens when two people with middle-aged memories do a podcast, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Do you know what I think about? I think almost every day is Justin Theroux dancing to Truth Faith and swinging his arms around in the club. And it's whenever I watch this movie, that scene is always much longer in my brain. But it's like it's a frame of him just dancing to True Faith. But if for some reason it just lives in my head. And I think, and every time I'm like, yeah, go on, Justin, you're doing it. I think he's such an interesting actor. And maybe part of it is that we're watching The Leftovers at the moment.
Do you know what? The only reason that I've paid him any attention lately is because we're covering this movie and we've just started watching The Leftovers. And it's only now that I'm realizing how much stuff I've seen with him in it. And he's
been in
never like stood out to me before, which is
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
Like, do you know who he is in my mind? He's the weird cowboy dude from the end of Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion.
Is he in that?
Like, isn't he the one that Janine Garofalo goes off with at the end?
Really?
I think so. It's been a while since I've watched it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that since 1998.
Well, there you go then. Maybe that's one that needs to join our collection.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I would. Do you know what? I would probably rewatch that.
It's a good movie. It's fun.
Yeah. Lynch, was he in Mulholland Drive? I think?
Yes. Yeah, I think he worked with Lynch a couple times.
Oh, did he?
I think he was in Inland Empire. That's one I haven't seen.
Okay.
So I can't like give you 100%
Yeah,
factual accuracy
I
there.
don't think I've seen it either.
But he has been in some really like high profile stuff and seems to be a decent bloke.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's nice to hear.
I know. Seems to be. You can never be
100% sure, can you? I feel weird about praising someone's work when it turns out that they're a shitbag.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, in my brain, I'm always feel like I've got to caveat it in some way.
Yeah.
But anyway, who cares? Like, yeah, it's nice to hear that he's probably a decent guy, but maybe he's not, in which case we're wrong. And sorry.
I hate that.
We covered it all.
You've covered the gamut there. But yeah, he made the decision to have blue contact lenses in this movie. And the only reason I even thought to look into that is because we're watching The Leftovers. And I was watching some like recap videos of American Psycho before this recording. And I was like, he's not got blue eyes. What's going on here?
Right.
But I couldn't find any information as to why that decision was made. Because I was like, oh, maybe they're all wearing contact lenses and I've never noticed, like in an effort to make them look even more homogenized.
Maybe.
But Bill Sage wasn't.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe it was his decision. Maybe he thought that his character would wear contact lenses to add into the whole identity theme and how people, this group of guys don't really know who they are. They're just pretending for everybody else and saying things that a cliche guys would sit around a table and say, you know, like how women are not our favorite people. And, you know, I'm trying to do a nice version of what they're saying, obviously, but you know, that sort of stuff that you hear geezers talking about.
Geezers.
Yeah, there's that bloke in Sainsbury that you mentioned earlier that was very unsavoury about a certain group of people.
Homophobic arsehole.
Yeah, exactly. It's that kind of thing, isn't it? It's that performative, toxic masculinity, which is probably something that these manosphere dweebs are latching onto. And it's those scenes, isn't it? They're latching onto those scenes, watching them being horrible about people and going, oh, yeah, we agree about this. We don't like women either. And this is true what they're saying, not realising that we're laughing at these people because their views are ridiculous and harmful to everybody. But I think that's where Mary Harron and Guinevere Turner come in, isn't it? Like we say, without them, this might have turned into a movie that it might have been more difficult to have the argument that this is satirizing that sort of stuff, even if it's trying to. I think they brought so much of that stuff and made it so obvious that it's hard to argue the other way. But listen, these people are idiots, so they're not taking the right lessons from it. It's people like, what's his face? HS Tiki Top. Mummy, I want to watch American Psycho again, mummy. I don't want a juice bomb, mummy.
Please stop. Please.
I wish I had a brain, mummy.
This is the least attractive I've ever found you.
Sorry.
Please stop.
I'll stop now.
I think
I hate that those people try to adopt these movies. I really, and I feel like I have to sort of stand up for the movie in a way. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
You don't need to. Loads of people praise this movie and they're right to, for the right reasons.
But I think this version of the movie could only have been directed by and written by women. I think it would have potentially fallen apart in the hands of a man. And I know that's a really broad, sweeping statement. But I don't know. I think it works because of the feminine insight behind the camera.
100% agree, and that sort of makes me feel better about it as well. Because I know that the intentions of those filmmakers, especially there's 2 commentaries on the Blu-ray, which I didn't watch this time, but I have seen them both before.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay. Is one Mary Harron, is another Guinevere Turner?
That's right, yeah.
Right, okay.
I think I covered this on a podcast a few years ago called Movie Drone, with the guys that host that show. Or I don't think they go anymore, but they did. I watched it a couple of times and also watched the commentaries. So it's a film that I've seen a lot of times as well.
You're a lot more familiar with it than I am.
I guess so. Like, I have seen it a bunch of times.
I think if it had been directed by a man, we would be in more danger of it being the film that the incels think it is.
Yeah, I agree.
I think something that really struck me on this viewing is the hypocrisy from Patrick Bateman as well.
Yeah.
It's not something that had necessarily stuck out to me before, but it's something you see a lot, or that I have seen a lot in real life. Like the sort of blokes who are like, yeah, I don't believe in putting chemicals in your body, and oh, my body's a temple. And I think the line in the film is literally, I believe in taking care of myself. You know, smash cut to shoveling cocaine in his face.
Yeah.
But they're always the sort of blokes who are like, oh no, I'm not going to get vaxxed. That's disgusting. It's chemicals, whilst turning around and putting steroids in their ass.
Yeah.
So the hypocrisy really tickled me. And actually, I know you sort of just talked about a lot of the racism, misogyny, homophobia that's on display in the film. And there is a lot of that. But actually, Patrick Bateman is sort of the voice of reason in places. Like he's kind of virtue signaling.
Yeah.
Like obviously his whole persona is an act. So when I say that, I don't mean he believes it.
Yeah.
But it's almost like none of them ever even listen to what the others are saying. They're all just having their own individual conversations with themselves almost.
I think that's literally true. Yeah, I think, and there's lots of instances, particularly with Paul Allen, when they go out for dinner and he's just not hearing anything that Bateman's saying. Bateman's admitting to murder in some of these situations, and with the model later on at dinner.
And doesn't he do that with Reese Witherspoon as well?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, but nobody hears it.
Nobody's listening. Nobody's hearing anything. They're just hearing what they want to hear, hoping for the result that they want. But yeah, it's early on in the film, I think, where was it Josh Lucas's character? He says something anti-Semitic, and Bateman's
and he calls him out.
That. We don't want that sort of talk around the dinner table here. But it's obviously all an act. And he's repeating words, which I think is something that comes up multiple times in this film. Where he's monologuing about Huey Lewis or any other pop culture reference, or that speech there where he's talking about trying to be more respectful to people. It's all an act and it's all memorized. My feeling is that he's read an article and he's studied it and analyzed it, and he's memorized it, and he's memorized all of the mannerisms and stuff as well. Like that's all measured and performed, and I don't believe any of it for a second. But it's interesting that they do that early on in the film, because you asked the first time you watch it, you're thinking, oh, well, what's this about? Who is this guy? But it's definitely this movie definitely benefits from subsequent viewings as well.
I agree. Yeah, I do think a lot of like his scripted monologues about the music specifically kind of feels rooted in masculinity as well, because obviously in the real world, men are a lot more reluctant to like ask for help or admit that they don't know things than women. Like if you look at the stats on men who will ask for directions versus just trying to, no, I can do this. I know my way. Like they just won't admit that they don't know a thing. And it's sort of, I guess, validating to their masculinity a lot of the time. So I think him going on about these albums and sounding like some pretentious music reviewer probably is just him cribbing other people's opinions. A, because he doesn't have any of his own, and B, because he sees a part of masculinity as being knowing things and being able to regale others with facts.
Yeah. Has there ever been a more masculine song than Su Su Studio?
Yeah, probably.
Because that plays during a scene where he has the sex workers, right?
Yeah, because it's such a sexy song.
Yeah, but you're right. It's in that scene he does a monologue about, I guess it's about Phil Collins, that one. But it's interesting how your point there about him thinking that being masculine guys knowing things, and that's so right. And I think that maybe is part of the the struggle to show masculinity, not masculinity, vulnerability. That's the word I'm looking for as a dude.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
that,
this isn't me like shitting on men. This
I
isn't
know
me blaming
that,
men. This
yeah.
is all part of the culture that we, you know, are molded to be a part of.
Absolutely. And I mean, I was sort of brought up to not show too much of that stuff, as you know. So I sort of struggle. I feel like I've spent most of my adult life trying to get back in touch with my emotions, and it's a daily struggle. So in one respect, you know, I sort of understand why guys that have not got fully formed brains yet would latch onto this if they're struggling to show vulnerability, because they're trying to work out who they are as well. So like when he says lines about there's nothing there and all of that stuff, they sort of latch onto that and think, oh, that's a good thing because I'm relating to this character, not realizing that actually I need to try and do the opposite to I've recognized something here. Well, let's explore that a little bit.
Well, some of it is sort of showing their opinions of women as well, because to be vulnerable is to be girly.
Yeah.
Women have emotions, women cry, and that's then saying, well, that's bad. I don't want to be like a woman.
That's the problem, isn't it?
Which is like rooted in misogyny.
Yeah, it's just the way that you're sort of. I guess it's becoming better, or maybe it's becoming worse. So who knows?
I hope it is. I think everybody should be allowed to have emotions and show them.
Yeah, for sure.
Shouldn't be a radical opinion.
I hope it's sort of a couple of generations. I hope it's just normal for everyone to just say what's on their mind and be nice to each other.
And ask for help when you need it and not feel ashamed.
No, I agree, totally. But I was sort of, I guess my old man was brought up in an era where you just don't show any emotions. Like, stiff upper lip, particularly being British in that time when he grew up in the 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever. Like,
there's definitely a generational aspect. It's gotten better since then, for sure.
Yeah, and then that sort of was passed on to my generation. Me and my friends and I, you know, we were very similar. You can't cry in front of people, and I was a very emotional kid as well. So I guess that in some way I sort of tried to bury it a little bit, and now I'm just spend the rest of my life trying to dig it back up. God, this has turned into a therapy session, isn't it? No need to see my shrink this week, I guess. This is way more than I would usually give away on a show.
I know. It's good. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Nothing bad will come of it. This is what I wish more people knew.
Be vulnerable.
Yeah. There's power in vulnerability.
Yeah. No, I
truly believe that.
I 100% agree in principle, but it's sometimes hard to get my brain to agree with my just
ego.
Just to do it. It could be, who knows.
And that's not
ego.
a criticism. I'm using ego in terms of like a psychological term.
Yeah. No, I know. I don't know. It's a daily struggle, as I say. But for me, you know, it's recognizing the things that are toxic and trying to work on them, and that's all you need to do.
That's all any of us can do.
Yes, all you can do.
Yeah. Back to the movie. We started talking about the cast. We talked about Justin Theroux. Let's talk about some of the others, because this is kind of a stacked cast.
It's a massive cast. It's a cast that I probably was mostly unfamiliar with when I first saw it in 2000.
Well, they've all gone on. I think all of them have gone on to do much bigger things.
Yeah, I think so. Josh Lucas was in that alligator movie.
Yeah. Sure was.
He's always the same character, I think, isn't he?
Often, yeah.
And he's good at it. He's good in this. He's very good in Ford v Ferrari, which is a film I haven't made you watch yet.
I like the yet.
It's coming.
Sure.
Yes, I mean, I didn't know who Justin Theroux was at this point. I knew Louis Theroux was.
Yeah.
And I never made that connection. I think it must have been a decade later that I was like, is that Louis Theroux's cousin that's in American Psycho? No way. Yeah, that's interesting. Samantha Mathis.
Yeah, yeah.
Who is
Princess Daisy.
Almost perfect looking, which made me laugh.
Oh my God.
It's not my thought. That's something that Bateman said.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, Princess Daisy. That's our second Mathis movie.
Yeah.
Great. We've got to talk about Matt Ross, haven't we?
Of course. I must not have seen this since I watched Silicon Valley.
Really?
Because I don't think I knew who Matt Ross was before Silicon Valley.
I certainly didn't. No. Beautifully playing Gavin Belson in Silicon Valley. Like, that's a show that we love.
Good.
It absolutely destroys us. And he's one of my favorite things in that. It's a show where everyone's perfect and very funny, but he's one of the top things in it. And he's also very funny in this. Like, he's physical comedy. The first time you see him, he's got like a bit of squid or something on his fork, and he's sort of shaking it around like a kid, and has that sort of childlike smirk on his face.
It's the expressions.
Perfect.
It's his facial expressions that just kill me.
I watched The Aviator a little while ago. I think before we covered Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh yeah.
And he's in that, but he's quite a serious character in that as well. He's like the reliable mechanic, plane mechanic, whatever that's called. Probably a plane mechanic.
Yeah. He's just a mechanic then.
But he's very different in that. And I remember thinking, oh, you're quite good at this acting thing, aren't you?
Underrated.
I think
Matt
so.
Ross, underrated. You heard it here first. Unless other people have said it.
I definitely already knew who Willem Dafoe was because I'd seen Speed 2.
I guess what would I have known him from at this point? I'm not sure.
Mississippi Burning.
Yeah, obviously, notoriously a huge fan of that as a child.
Yeah. You probably read the book, but not saw the movie.
Yeah. I think this is the most normal I've ever seen Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And he's still a bit weird.
Yeah.
But he's unusual.
Maybe the least weird person in the movie.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's not. He's not doing Lighthouse, is he? He's not doing Northman. He's not like this is before he goes full Dafoe, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's sort of a measurement there. There's like a measured performance, but it is interesting that Harron and him decided to play different versions of the scenes.
I read this, yeah. So he played it 3 ways. Is that right?
That's right.
So he did takes where he thought, like he suspected Christian Bale
had murdered Paul Allen.
Yeah. There were takes when he knew nothing. And then there was a third option where it was a bit more ambiguous.
Yeah, he wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
And did you know that before we watched it?
No.
Because I knew that already, I think, from the last time I covered the film. So watching it this time, I was looking out for that, and you can see like a difference between the performances.
Really? So they cut between them?
I think I could be wrong, but I think so. And it feels like that to me when you're watching it. Certainly, like there'll be one performance where he's sort of smiling and being laid back, and the next one he's sort of scowling and like he's suspicious.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like in another movie you wouldn't do that because they feel tonally different. But in this one, it's part of the whole thing, and obviously from Bateman's perspective, what's real and what's not. So there's like many things that I think work on multiple levels, and his performance being absolutely one of them. And I remember being surprised at the time that there wasn't more made of that character, the detective character, because he sort of comes in and goes, do you know where this guy is? And he goes, no, he's probably a homosexual though. And then it fucks off, and we see him once again. I think that line kills me when he's talking about the Princeton or Yale or whatever it is. He does cocaine and probably a closeted homosexual. The stuff that comes out of his mouth is, and I think it's mostly the way that it's delivered by Bale.
Yeah,
it's so funny because it's so deadpan and so utterly absurd, the things that he's saying. But I don't know, it gets me every time. I don't know how I got to talk about his performance again while we're talking about Willem Dafoe.
It's hard not to. I think Bale is in every scene bar one.
Okay. Ooh, what one's that?
When Jean finds the appointments book.
Oh, of course.
That's full of the doodles.
Right.
I think that's the only scene that he's not in.
The doodles. I'm
happy to be corrected if that's not accurate. But
yeah, it sounds right to me.
Yeah, so he just dominates the screen throughout this. I do want to talk about his performance.
Let's do it.
Obviously we watched this the other night. I hadn't seen it in about a decade, as I say. We covered a little film called Vampire's Kiss.
You're welcome, by the way.
For your Nicolas Cage season, which was a revelation for both of us, I think. And during this, I want to say about 20, 30 minutes into this film, you said, oh, I feel like I remember reading that Christian Bale based his performance on Nicolas Cage in Vampire's Kiss. And as soon as you said that, it was like a game of Tetris. Everything just fell into place perfectly. And I was like, but for the rest of the runtime, all I could see was Nicolas Cage in a Christian Bale suit.
Yeah.
I can't unlearn that information now. And I'm sorry to have passed it on to other people. I don't know how much truth there is to it. I did find that confirmed in a couple of places.
You did?
Yeah, that he was he took inspiration from Vampire's Kiss and also and I think it was a 1992 late night TV interview with Tom Cruise, and he said he was sort of appearing enthusiastic and he was saying all the right things but looked dead behind the eyes.
Yeah. I love that. I know. I wonder if they can ever look at each other in the eye and sort of shake hands. I bet Cruise is not best pleased about that.
Well, I mean, Cruise will never be at the Oscars while Nicole Kidman's attending, so he's probably safe.
Yeah, probably.
But I can't unsee that now.
I looked for it online. I found a few articles that suggested that he had done that, but I couldn't find any confirmation from like Bale.
Right.
I couldn't find anything that said like Bale said this
but he
via this article or Harron
to.
said this via that article.
But the evidence is the film. It's the performance.
I mean, obviously we're talking about the film here and we're comparing it to another film that we've covered, and there's absolutely no denying
that was about a yuppie in the 80s.
Yeah, these two films are not virtually the same, but they're very, very similar.
Companion pieces.
Companion pieces. They're both dark comedy. They're both satires, and they're both sending up 80s culture and yuppie culture, as you say. So like, there's so many similarities there that I think that we had to bring it up, even if it's not true. That through line is incredible, and I think if this movie gets made 10 years earlier, it probably would have been Nicolas Cage playing this role, on account of Christian Bale being 9.
I think he'd be great at it.
I completely agree. I would put Nicolas Cage in anything, as you know.
Annie.
That's the only scenario where I'd go and watch Annie, is if Nicolas Cage was playing Annie.
That'd be a unique take.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
I think I did find an article where Harron had reference to Tom Cruise thing, though.
Right.
So there's definitely, if I had to guess, there's definitely truth to that. Not sure about the other thing, but yeah, again, like I sort of see it. You sort of like, I question. Everyone says, "Oh, Tom Cruise is great." You know, Simon Pegg gets on and says, "Oh, he's great. He's my friend and stuff." And I'm sure that he is. Like, you meet him, and I'm sure he's very nice. But I'm suspicious of people that are too nice.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
It's not normal.
I don't think it's normal. Sometimes you're a grouchy bastard, and that's okay. Like, just try to be nice, but sometimes we're not perfect, and that's okay, as long as you recognise it and maybe apologise.
You catch me first thing in the morning, I'm going to have a harder time pretending to be nice.
I'm fully aware of that. And I'm the same. I'm not a morning person at all. It takes me about an hour and a couple of caffeine shots to get in me, and then I'm not a regular human, but I've become more myself. Yeah, slightly
warmer.
Yeah, ice cold in the morning. Get that coffee in me. Yeah, but his performance is just absolutely magic in this. That thing where another instance of a piece of dance that I think about a lot is his little swing where he's putting on he puts on Huey Lewis in the News. He's talking to Paul Allen about a hip to be square. This seminal piece of work.
Nobody knew that he was going to do that.
Really?
Mary Harron didn't know he was going to do that.
Really?
And apparently she just collapsed in laughter. She had no idea he was going to start dancing.
How funny. I wonder how they managed all the blocking and stuff then. Like, it's because it's iconic. That scene is one of the things I think of. There's a couple of them, the business cards, this, other things, but that little dance where he sort of points at the stereo and then swings his hips from side to side and then walks behind Paul Allen. Is that a raincoat? Yes, it is. Picks up the axe to the head.
But the
cinematic gold.
The swaying dance, I can't describe it. I'm trying to do it.
Swaying. It's swaying.
But that's a meme. That's a well used GIF.
I've gifted the same thing myself. I put it on loop, so it was just doing the swing for like 10 seconds. Maybe it's in the dark depths of my telephone somewhere. I can dig it out for the show.
But that's how iconic it is. And to know that was his decision is funny to me.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Christian Bale in real life? We touched on this a little bit in the Batman show.
Yeah.
Not the Batman. Batman Begins. Different movie. But yeah, what are your feelings about Christian Bale?
I think after this movie came out, and then sort of between 2000 and 2008, I probably would have said he was my favourite actor, or definitely one of my favourites.
And then the Terminator thing happened.
Yeah, maybe. I think he's a very good actor.
Yeah, I'm not going to
like, you see him in
interviews,
and it's not a bad thing necessarily. but he's got the charm of a croc. Like, he doesn't really care what people think, and probably a good thing. Like I say,
Yeah.
couple that with the, he seems a bit spiky.
It's funny because I've seen a few interviews off the back of The Bride very recently, and he seemed quite personable.
Really?
I was surprised, yeah.
Maybe it's just me making snap judgments. Then.
No, I don't know. I think...
I don't know him personally.
So, I mean...
I didn't need to say that.
But he is a method acting wanker. Maybe him and Jared Leto got on like a house on fire.
Maybe. Again, like, I don't have a problem with method acting as long as it doesn't affect other people.
I do. Just turn up and do your job. It's your job to act, not become another human. It's called acting, not becoming.
I just don't have a problem. I just generally don't have a problem with anyone doing anything. I don't give a shit what you do. I don't care as long as you're not hurting anyone. And it extends to method acting as well. I sort of agree. Like, you just turn up and you sort of act, but I don't care enough for it. As long as no one's being harmed or hurt, which unfortunately, with the whole Jared Leto thing,
not the case.
Apparently, allegedly, there's some funky shit, unpleasant things that happened. Sometimes, maybe, allegedly.
You covered. You're fine.
Yeah, we good?
Yeah.
Good.
We'll get the lawyers on it. But yeah, during the production of this, he spoke in an American accent throughout.
I heard this, yeah.
And apparently many of the cast didn't even know he was British until, like, the rap. I think there was some sort of rap party afterwards, and they were like, oh, he must be speaking in a I want to say Welsh, but his accent does sound more English these days. He's kind of speaking in a different accent for his next project because they just assumed he was American.
Yeah.
I think one pivotal scene that we have to talk about, if we're going to isolate any scenes, is business class wars.
Yeah, it's kind of a quite good encapsulation of the movie and the attitudes and the themes that it's exploring, right?
Exactly. And that's why I think we have to talk about it. Would you say it's one of your favourite scenes? Yeah, for the reasons detailed?
For the reasons detailed being that it's funny.
Yes.
It's very funny. Like I said, it's kind of distilling everything that happens in the movie. It's like a concentrated version of that. It's the yuppies sitting around paying way too much attention to a rectangle piece of card, and just how much stock they've put into it, how much time they spent thinking about it. You know that they've not a computer because it's the 80s, but they've spent a long time at the printers deciding what shade of white they want and what fonts they want, and they think they've chosen the perfect thing. And the fact that they've got the time and the resources to have that sort of create that sort of problem, I guess, is also funny to me. The fact that they've spent so long thinking about it and it upsets them so much is very funny to me. And it's where you get the Paul Allen character. He's introduced then as well, and they've all got a card, and they're all very anxious about everybody else's card.
How are they all the vice president though?
I think that, again, it's title's a meaningless situation, right? It's not to be taken literally. I think it's...
But, like, that's why they've got so much free time on their hands, because they're all doing the job of one man.
Yeah.
But
it's just rich white men in positions of power not doing anything, and they've all got the same haircut and the same job title, but really they
and the same glasses.
And they're meaningless and pointless, and they can do whatever they want.
Okay.
It's like I sort of feel like you can't really take this film literally on any level, and I know Harron that's not the way she wanted it, but for me that's how I feel about it.
Let's talk about that then, because we touched on it earlier and we said we were going to come back to it.
Well, let's do that now then.
For a change, we're going to come back to it.
Seamless.
So the question is, what do you think is in his head, and what do you think happened?
I think I don't necessarily think that any of this film is meant to be taken literally. I do think that some of it happens, and I do think that he does kill, but the one that sticks out in my mind that is probably definitely real is where he kills the homeless guy and the dog.
And the dog.
Yeah.
I mean, but the homeless guy's bad too, but the dog.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know. The reason that I lean towards that one being real is that feels way more realistic than some of the other stuff that happens.
It somehow feels nastier.
Yeah, and that's probably part of it, because he's taunting the guy, saying, I'm going to help you, and then kills him. And he's playing with his emotions. I'm going to help you, no, I'm not. I'm going to help you, no, I'm not. And then he stabs him in the chest, like a very simple, brutal kill. and he murders the dog as well. But I think a lot of the other stuff is so outlandish that I struggle to think that it's real. And the one that really sticks in my mind is the chainsaw, where he's chasing Christie around with the chainsaw. And bear in mind, we've already seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre playing in the background. It's his workout movie. What
that and porn. That's how you know he's a psychopath who just watches porn passively.
Yeah.
Just on in the background. Psycho behavior.
Yes. Well, yes. So I think some of them are obvious to me that they're not real, and I think that's one of them. And that one with the chainsaw as well. After we see that he's dropped a chainsaw from the staircase, and we're presented with the chainsaw having killed Christie, it then cuts to him in the restaurant with Reese Witherspoon drawing that scenario, and I'm thinking that he's imagined it while he's been drawing, and that's my reasoning for not thinking that isn't necessarily real. I do think that he's probably met Christie before, because that's the second encounter with Christie.
I think he killed everyone.
Do you?
Yeah. I think it all happened.
Really?
Yeah.
I couldn't disagree with that more. I definitely think that, because there's that part at the end of the movie where he shoots the police car and he sort of looks at his gun like, what's going on here? Like, I think that's in his mind.
Oh, I think he's lost his mind. I mean, there's some stuff happening that we see that is definitely not happening. Like the ATM didn't say "feed me a stray cat."
But I think
obviously some stuff is in his head because he's gone mental.
I think they're the clues though that tell you that other things didn't happen.
Yeah, and this is how I used to feel about the film, but I think I've changed my mind on this viewing.
Okay.
And I think it's sort of a comment on the fact that these privileged white men can get away with whatever the fuck they want.
Well, this is what I was about to say actually, yeah, because obviously if we take everything as literal and he's done all of this stuff, then where is the police? Where are everyone? But I guess thematically, like you say, rich white men can do whatever they want, and that sort of fits in with the tone of the movie and everything the movie's going for. So I get that. It feels wrong to me to think that, to take this film completely literally. I think it's literally telling you that some of what you're watching is real and some of it isn't. And I think that's how I feel about it anyway. But one thing that I do like about this movie is that we can have different takes.
Yeah,
and
I appreciate that.
Everything in this movie does work on multiple levels, and sometimes those levels line up and sometimes they don't. And I love that about this.
Yeah, I think Bret Easton Ellis did intend it to be more ambiguous, but Mary Harron didn't.
I find this to be ambiguous enough. I think Harron, I heard on an interview, had been approached many times about the question, is it all a dream? And she's very much like, no, I never intended it to be seen that way. So it's interesting that that's her, that was her intention, but a lot of people's responses to it are different, and that's fine, and that's right. You know, obviously art is however you view it.
Yeah, of course, it's what you personally take away from it.
Yeah, but I personally think that the more outlandish stuff that doesn't, or the more outlandish stuff, or the things, I feel like that there's been clues, like I say, the chainsaw thing. There's an element there of him going, oh, I am just repeating what I've seen on the media, which is something we've seen throughout the movie with the pop culture references. Or you could see it as, I've seen this movie and I'm going to imagine that this is a fun thing to do for me. But the fact that the next scene is him drawing it, I think is a big clue to me that didn't actually happen, or at least not in that way.
All right, second question. Do you think he killed Paul Allen?
I like to think so.
But do you think it was Paul Allen? Because I love the ending that suggests, like, obviously he did the voicemail message saying, I'm going to London. And then the lawyer was like, oh, but I've had dinner with him twice in London.
Yeah.
So it could be just, they are all just this homogenous person. They're all indistinguishable from one another because of collective identity. Or he didn't kill Paul Allen. Like maybe Jared Leto's character was just doing what Christian Bale's character was doing, because he was called a different name and he just went with it.
Yeah, maybe.
So who knows? I don't know. Do any of them know? Because there's a scene earlier on, near the start of the film, where Christian Bale looks over at a different table and says, oh, that's Paul Allen. It wasn't Jared Leto. So who's to say any of them know who the others are.
Any of them are, yeah.
Can they even recognise one another?
No, it's a good question, because the lawyer refers to Bale as Davis even after he's left the voicemail message.
Yeah.
And I don't think I realised that until probably my 10th viewing of this movie. And I'm still seeing new things in it now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think it's interesting. Did he kill Paul Allen? Who did he kill? Maybe he didn't kill anyone. Maybe he did kill Paul Allen. Maybe he killed someone else he thought was Paul Allen.
Maybe the guy he killed thought he was Paul Allen, but wasn't.
Yeah. Maybe he did kill Paul Allen, and the person that the lawyer saw in London wasn't Paul Allen. It was somebody else. Yeah, they're all sort of mistaken identity. A lot of them have similar glasses and similar haircuts, although Bateman's is slightly better.
I just love, like, that it's hammered home that nobody knows who anybody is, and you can take that both literally and figuratively, because all of their personalities are invented. So nobody knows who anybody else is. These people they call friends, they don't know them.
No.
But literally, quite literally, they couldn't point to somebody else and tell you their name. They'd probably be mistaken.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that's all great. That's really interesting. I wonder how much of this stuff is lifted from the book and how much of it is the script. But from what I understand, it's mostly faithful to the book.
Yeah, I think almost all of the dialogue came directly from the book. Well, maybe not almost all, but a lot of it, certainly.
The biggest change from what I hear is mainly that in the book, the murder scenes are very, very graphic and detailed.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing with Bret Easton Ellis. He is quite graphic.
And it could be part of the misogyny argument.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about the film, and something that I sort of hinted at earlier, is that you don't see as much as you think. Like, I remember this coming out, and it was controversial, and it was like people didn't really care for it. Normies didn't really care for this film, but when you watch it, like, it's not as violent as you think. No. You don't see much blood. You
see some aftermath, and that's about it.
You see a bit of aftermath, yeah, but you don't see people being physically harmed,
which is interesting.
Yeah,
because they obviously explicitly reference Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and that's what that film was known for. You don't really see any gore in that. It's all suggestion. Your brain fills in the gaps.
It's suggestion. It's maybe some Foley. Yeah, and that's a good thing. I think it works. I think it works perfectly.
I think it's masterful. The suggestion of violence being more upsetting than actually seeing it, or tricking you into thinking you've seen something that's more violent than you have, I think is actually masterful direction.
I agree. Yeah, you're filling in the blanks there as well, and I think you're sort of offloading some of the responsibility to the viewer in a way as well, in a good way, in a way that would make you maybe reflect on yourself a little bit, unless your name's HS Tiki Toki. In which case,
self-awareness. What's that?
Yeah, what's that mean?
What do you think happens next for Patrick Bateman after the credits roll?
Do you know what? I've never thought about it.
Because I would say he's arguably more broken by the end, because he's, I think, committed all this violence. And the saddest thing is he's still going unacknowledged.
I think it's the level of frustration that he ends the movie on is another thing that's quite amusing to me. But it's almost like he's sort of like a mixture of relief that he hasn't been discovered, but also frustration that he can't take credit for these murders, and also, I guess, discovering that he's insane. Like, I think he would almost rather be sane and go to prison than figure out that he's insane and I think didn't commit all of these murders.
But do people who are insane really know that they're insane?
I don't know. Maybe not. I couldn't tell you. I'm not a doctor, am I?
It's interesting to think about, though. But yeah, that's about all I've got on American Psycho.
One more question for you then.
Sure.
How excited are you for the potential remake of this?
Not very.
I would agree. I the point where they went, it's probably going to be Luca Guadagnino, I'm like, okay, I'll watch it. I don't think there's a world in which there's going to be anything better than this. So it's that thing. It's pointless doing it because this is already a perfect movie.
Yeah.
But if anyone's going to do it, probably Guadagnino's is a good shout. Obviously, the Suspiria remake is great, and he's done some really interesting and good work. I don't love the idea of Austin Butler playing Bateman, who I think is the person that was last to potentially attached to it.
I mean, as long as it's not Glenn Powell, just don't be Glenn Powell. I don't love the idea of Austin Butler either.
No, I don't think Glenn Powell works either. As much as a fan as I am of him, I don't think he's right for Bateman. Do you know who I do think though? And this is, I think possibly I suggested it while we were watching season 3 of The White Lotus.
How dare you? I suggested it during season 3 of The White Lotus.
Did you?
And you agreed.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's me trying to take credit for you. I know, and that's just me in a clever way, pretending how the patriarchy works. Irony, satire.
Just say what you were going to say.
I've forgotten. Patrick Schwarzenegger should play Patrick Bateman. That's what I was going to say.
I could see that. I don't know if he's got the chops to be quite as large and as zany as Christian Bale was, but if it's Luca Guadagnino, I think they'd be going in a different direction anyway.
Maybe. I'd be too worried, I think, that they're going to go, well, okay, let's be really faithful to the book. In which case, I don't think... I haven't read it. Maybe the book works. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it has some issues with it. Maybe it hasn't aged as well. I don't know. But from what I've heard about the book, a straight adaptation isn't the way to go. You've already got that in the book. Let's do something slightly different, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't think you're going to have another take that is going to hit the beats that this version hits. With everything in it, it's perfect. It's funny. It makes me think about things. It's had a bit of an impact on culture, even if at the time it wasn't massive. It did make 34 million, so it did okay for a 7 million budget.
It's got Matt Ross.
It's got Matt Ross, but it was a controversial movie when it came out. It became a cult favorite, and now it's memed. Everybody knows some of the frames from this movie even if you haven't seen it. And just to think that it's this weird indie movie that I rented on VHS back in 2000, 2001, and didn't quite understand why I liked it, and now it's like one of the most important kind of, not horror. It's not really horror, I would say, but psychological.
I would put it. I mean, it's so embraced by the horror crowd. I would be tempted to call it a horror film on that basis alone.
I think this is a psychological comedy, but for me, it's more comedy than anything.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one genre, it's comedy for me.
Which is probably contentious if you ask some people. Probably,
yeah. But I struggle to put it in a horror, the horror bracket. It was probably marketed that way a lot when it was released, so it could be some of the reason why some people didn't get on with it. But it's definitely, like you say, embraced by the horror community. Sometimes in the wrong way, and sometimes in the right way, like us.
We're correct
about everything.
Oh my god, that's so untrue.
Yeah. So remake, rather not.
Yeah, I don't love the idea.
No.
It doesn't need it.
I agree. I tend to agree, but if you're going to do it, all right, we'll just give it to Luca then.
We'll see.
Reluctantly. But yeah, that's us done on American Psycho, and I'm very glad that we finally got round to talking about it.
Yeah, I'm glad that we watched it together.
Yeah, I know. It's
almost 6 years, and it's the first time we've seen it together. That's wild.
It's a long time coming. It's probably one of the first movies we spoke about. I think maybe you had somewhere written, maybe it's on your Instagram or something, I need to return some videotapes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, and I covered it on that podcast, and that's when we first sort of started dating as well. So, but it's the first time we've watched it together, which was really, really nice, and it's something that I return to quite a lot. The only reason I haven't watched it in the last 5 years because I watched it so many times in the year 2000.
You watched it 4 times in a week.
Yeah, I think I did literally. Yeah. So yeah, I wanted to give it a rest for a while, but this time though, I love it so much. It breezes by it, and if you are going to put this in a horror bracket, which I don't agree with, but I would say it's probably my favorite, or like joint second, third, like it's up there, top 3, 5 horror movies, psychological horrors, and possibly even in my top 10 of all time. Like I think this is great, and it's so rewatchable, and it's got a lot to say,
and it's aged phenomenally well.
I think so,
considering it's about kind of 80s yuppies and Reaganism and stuff. It's so applicable to today as well.
It's only become more relevant.
Yeah.
And that is, I think that's a mark of a a fantastic movie, a movie that grows with age and becomes more relevant, and it's just utterly unpackable. Like, there's so many things to look at. You can analyze everything, and it all means something, leads into something else, and leads into that and that. And it's such a good script as well. Everything in it works really well, and I'm very surprised that Guinevere Turner also wrote Uwe Boll's Blood Rain. Did you know this?
Look, everybody needs a paycheck.
Well, this is it. I hope that movie is a good Uwe Boll movie. But yeah, I hope she just got paid a big paycheck, hopefully.
I think she was also in Chasing Amy. I think she was mates with Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith didn't like this movie when he first saw it.
Well, he's been wrong before.
But then he did later admit that he was wrong about that. And say that actually this is brilliant. But again, like, you know, you're watching this in 2000 without any context.
Ahead of its time.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It's sort of in that Succession bracket a little bit as well, where we're sort of, you know, Eat the Rich, satirizing this kind of idea of the money and wealth, and you know, you're supposed to aspire to these people, but what are they? Like, it's kind of in that bracket for me, and that is, yeah, that's early 2000 is, we get it all the time now, but then I suppose we didn't really. So yeah, it's aged beautifully, and I'm so glad that we decided to do this for the penny.
One more. One left.
One more to go for Identity season, and it's a big one. It's a big one. It's got the biggest guy that's ever been in movies, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Any guesses?
You've already name-checked his son.
We have. That would have been a perfect segue, wouldn't it? Why didn't we do it?
Because we got distracted and went off on a tangent again.
Yeah, I know.
I know what we're doing. I know.
I'm just going to give a listener a couple of seconds to guess. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Identity season. You know what it is, don't you? It's Total Recall.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Our second Verhoeven?
Yeah, will not be our last.